From the kitchen of the cabin, it's the 5 Games for Doomsday review.
Railroad Inc. Great games build a relationship with their players. Great games develop a sense of ownership in their players. Great games forge a connection to their players. Like all forms of art, games truly work when they transcend their constituent parts and become more like close friends or members of the family. As with characters in a novel, games elicit familial emotions. The feel of the pieces, the art on the box cover, the interconnection of the mechanics come together and become dear to us. Far more dear than any inanimate object has any right to be. Great games are not simply amusement or diversion. A play of a great game becomes a conversation with someone you love to spend time with. Great games live. I've been having a conversation with Railroad Inc. from Horrible Games recently, and our talks have been engrossing, challenging, and rip-roaring fun. Railroad Inc. is a roll-and-write game that rescues itself from the stale abstraction of numbers on a checkboard and has players blot a pristine naked grid with their inexpert transport networks. The dice in this game carry symbols for roads and railway tracks and junctions that connect the two. The dice are rolled and the players must use every symbol to extend their transport network on their personal grid. Points are scored by having routes connect to exits that dot the outer edge of the grid, or by tracing their network through the centre squares. There are also special routes or junctions that players can use during the game if the dice rolls pitch them into tricky situations. Unconnected routes lead to points being docked, and a lack of foresight can hamper you greatly in the game. Railroad Inc. succeeds on 2 levels. Firstly, there is the pure spatial challenge that lives purely in the folds of the cerebellum. We're a pattern-recognising species, and Railroad Inc. plays into this. It triggers the parts of the brain that desire a pleasing order of things, and after the first dice are rolled and the first routes drawn, a platonic ideal of the perfect network forms, just outside of view. The rest of the game is an attempt to reconcile the imperfections of real life with that impossibly perfect picture. Railroad Inc. is not just a tactical puzzle, but a demonstration of the joys and frustrations of anticipation. The future plays as much of a part in Railroad Inc. as the immediate, and how to clamber over the disappointment of the current dice roll to the ecstatic uplands of the fulfillment of your plans is a constant crashing together of success and setback every time the dice clatter onto the table. Then there is the sheer emotional connection the game engenders. The game board is completely blank with only the exits prescribed, so where to build and what bonus routes to use are entirely up to you. The game encourages a feeling of ownership by compelling the player to create a transport system that is entirely unique and entirely theirs. Playing this game, I was constantly delighted by seeing the different outcomes that players around the table would produce. The same symbols always created networks that were wildly divergent. These pictures the inner workings of our brains wrought in black marker pen. Some regular, ordered and fussily neat, others chaotic and almost unreadable. This game connects to us by allowing us to reveal ourselves in play. Railroad Inc. manages to straddle both hemispheres of the brain. It manages to utilise both the present and the future and harness the creative and the analytical, and with beautifully simple rules draws us into it. Great games forge a connection to their players, so that a simple glance at the box will raise a smile. Great games are not just static objects. Great games live, and Railroad Inc. is in rude health. This review was made possible by the donations of my patrons. You can become one too, patreon.com/5G4D. Thank you for listening.